Okay. I guess everything's working. Hello everybody. I'm back again. I exist. That was a little weird. The thing kind of. Hopefully, that wasn't a little glitch in the system. I don't know. It doesn't say that I lost any frames, so I guess it's okay. But, anyways, hello again, everybody. I'm back. Nicodemus Kane. I've been gone for a while. I've been gone for a pretty long time. I kept saying I was going to come back and we were going to do a video because a lot of things have popped up recently. It's let me get to. It's July the 12th of 2021. You've allowed yourself to be what's the word? Lied to and imprisoned in your own lives for a year and a half now, and nobody's still doing anything about it. It's 6:34 in the morning. It's like I said, I kept saying I was going to do a video, and I just hadn't gotten around to it because I've just been so busy. The past month, June of 2021, was hard. It was a hard month, and I kind of knew it was going to be a hard month going into it, just because of all the things that were coming, especially for us. We just bought a new house. If you can look in the background, you can see that my shelves are empty. There's packing boxes in the background. We bought a new house. We bought a house, period. This is my first venture into home ownership, and I know that there are going to be some people that say, "Oh, yeah, a mortgage is just a death note." It's mort, and a gage is or GAGE is a. I can't remember if it was Latin. We were talking about this the other day. Angie and I, my wife, she's been saying death note. She's been telling everybody, "Oh, we just got a death note," and all that, and we were trying to figure out what language it was. We couldn't remember if it was Latin or if it was something else. But we've been kind of making fun of it, But we figured it was the only way to get out of having to get away from this renting process. I mean, there's nothing else we could do, really. It's either we buy a house or we rent for the rest of our lives, and we're under a rental company's contract, and sooner or later, those rental companies are going to start making people jump through some hoops that some people just aren't going to like. I don't think it's far-fetched at all to be able to say that a rental company could make you take a certain injection that the entire world is trying to force upon its people in order to live in a place. I don't think it's beyond the capacity of people to be able to do that. I don't think it's beyond the capacity of people to say that if you want to have health insurance, you're going to have to get it too. I mean, that's probably one of those things that's coming down the line as well. But this is just one of the ways that we can get out of that process, and we can actually have a place, my work computer just kind of shut off. It's a way for us to be able to get into a process to where we can actually have a place of our own. Now, are we ever going to pay off a 30-year mortgage? No. No. No, we've actually been talking about that too. We said once the shit really hits the fan and everything just kind of goes crazy, they can come find us. They can come find us at that point. They're not going to get the rest of their money. They're gonna take all the worldly possessions that we have, and they're going to do whatever the hell they want to, and but they can come find us. Just telling you that right now. So we understand what's going on. We understand what's happening, and we thought long and hard on it, and we said, you know what? it would be better for us to have something that's ours than to be submitted to rentals. You know, I mean, what else are we gonna do? Live with our parents? Anyways, but it's been that kind of month. The entire month of June, we were buying this house. At the same time, I had to go down to Florida, back home, to help my mother. Trying to find the volume on this, but I guess it's not going to work because I can't hear myself in these headphones. I never really can. But I had to go back down to Florida to help my mother clean out the house. My stepfather passed away, and we went down there for a week to clean it out right in the middle of June, right in the middle of all this stuff. And that was hard. It wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. It was really hard. We had 1 week, and we found out that my stepfather wasn't in the best of health. He wasn't in the best of shape mentally. And we had to do a lot of we did a lot of soul searching. We really did. We did a lot of soul searching while we were down there, to where we kind of were like, you know, what's going on here? You know, what has happened, you know, to the man that we thought we knew. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to bash the guy. I don't want to bring anybody down on it or anything. But you know, it was rough. We had a week to get in there and clean it up as much as we could, get all the stuff out that we could. And it constantly felt like we were being pushed behind because it rained the whole week. The whole week it rained. We had like one day where it didn't rain that much, and we were able to actually get the truck loaded. But it was push, push, push. And every single day I came back to the motel room and I was just drenched in sweat. Just absolutely drenched in sweat. Just, and it's Florida, man. Florida's hot as hell. So it was just, move, 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 move. And then, the drive back where I was driving the truck and we had to tow my car because, Angie came down with me. And it was a rough week. It was a rough week. I'm survived. I'm amazed we survived. And the ramifications afterwards, it's just like, what did we just do there? What was that all about? And as soon as I came back, it was, rush, rush, rush on the paperwork for the house. And now it has turned into rest. That's what I asked for. I asked the Father, I asked God for rest. I said, look, I just need to step away from this because, we had the trip to Florida, we had the getting the house. I've had to worry about packing. I've had to worry about getting stuff at the house ready because the house is nice. The house is really nice, but it's not perfect. There's stuff we need to do. So I've been thinking about, we have to work on the house. We have to do this. We have to do that. The biggest problem I've been having is we just don't have the money to be able to get the stuff we need to be able to fix the house. But we're getting that. Slowly but surely, we're getting that. I mean, it's, we saved back a lot more money than I thought we did. Plus, my mom is giving us what you would consider an inheritance from my stepfather to be able to cover certain things. So it's been a lot of worry. It's been a lot of stress. And I asked the Father, I said, just give me a rest. Just give me a chance to sit and be able to think a clear thought without, having to constantly be stressed about everything that's going on in the world. You know, not only you know the trip to Florida, but the move and you know all this stuff. Not only that, but what's happening in the world with door to door information. What do you want to call it? They because I'm sure everybody knows. Our comrade in chief has said that they're going to be sending people door to door to give you information about getting your injections. They're not salesmen. They're just trying to sell you on something that you may not want. And it's been pretty crazy, you know, hearing people talk about it. Hearing the different countries that are just devolving into pure tyranny. I saw the video the other day of a kid getting maced by cops because they refused to wear a mask. It's just, it's become absurd. And of course, I've only been talking about it for the past year and a half now, you know, where it's just become worse and worse and worse. And instead of people fighting back, which some people are, believe it or not, there's been a good amount of pushback from a lot of countries that are not America that, yeah, they've taken to the streets and they've started letting, you know, the world know what's going on. But for the most part, it just seems like America has just taken the stance that we're just going to be dumbed down and we're just going to sit and take it. So, you know, another reason why I asked for a rest, to be able to, you know, focus on other things. It's because the more I see, the less I believe. I guess that's what you're going to call it. I don't know. It was cold water, by the way. I don't know, man. It just blows my mind. I mean, we had people celebrating July 4th, celebrating their freedoms. And I just had to laugh. I just, you know, I was like, why? Do you people even understand what's happening anymore? Do you people really understand what's going on? That you really don't have freedoms right now. You've been lulled into this sense of security that it's not freedom. It's like the worst kind of baseline tyranny possible. And they just keep taking it away from you more and more. My computer just went off again. I know, it's got a 15-minute timer on it. Well, maybe not even that. Let's say 5 minutes. Who knows? But it's just become absurd. And I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, we're so ready to fight back. You know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that." In the meantime, the whack jobs in DC are saying stuff like, "Well, you want to talk about having guns to be able to, you know, protect yourself and to be able to come overthrow your government. And if you're going to come after us, then you're going to need like nuclear bombs and jet planes." That's a direct threat, guys. That's like a direct threat. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh, it's not." He never really said that. He just said that if you're going to come after us, you're going to need something more than pop guns and stuff like that. And I just stopped and said, that's a direct threat. He is willing to use nuclear weapons against a country because they want to get rid of the government that's in power that a lot of people don't like. I'll tell you what, we went to Florida. A lot of people are not liking the government that's in power right now. It's just Florida's a completely different world from Indiana, man. Completely different world. I know I might have said that before. I don't know, but they're on a different level. Florida, you're doing it right. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Although I'll tell you what, there were more people, even though Florida is one of those non-mask states, there were more people in Florida wearing masks than there were up here, which I thought was weird. I thought that was a little weird. It's just, and you could just see that the people that were there just had that kind of fear in their eyes, and you're just like, that's. It was nice though, getting out of the state, and as you drive down with 75, and you stop at gas stations and stuff like that, people just didn't care. They just don't give a shit anymore. There's a lot of them just, you'd have entire gas stations. Nobody would have a mask on. Nobody would care. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's happy. Everybody's cool. But we got to Florida. It's like everybody's wearing them, and I'm like, there's no mandate here. What's going on? Of course, then I find out that they're. As soon as we left, they passed a bill that hidden down inside the bill there was something like Florida was saying, if it hurts the general population's health, then they have the right to be able to come in and forcefully inject you for the health of the collective. Yeah, I was like, really? You don't see this stuff. You don't see that stuff on TV. You don't hear about the people that just don't care about what's going on, and they're the ones that are fighting back against the system. You don't hear about that on mainstream media. You're constantly hearing about fear, all the other kind of stuff. And it's out there. And we've, just by listening to the people that are down there, and just by listening to people, in between and all that, people are getting tired of it. People are getting tired of this whole system where it just feels like our voices don't matter anymore. And I don't know if anybody's going to rise up anytime soon. It just doesn't seem like that. I've been saying that people are going to have to rise up eventually, but it just doesn't seem like anybody's rising up anytime soon. Australia, man, you guys have... I don't know if I have any viewers from Australia. I probably don't. But I've been telling people from Australia for the past year, since this whole thing started, and ever since the one girl, it was back in May or June of last year, when that first girl got videoed being taken down by the cop in Australia. I said right then and there, you're going to have to start pushing back, because they just took all your guns. That was back in 2018, 2019, I think it was, when they had that whole push to take all the guns away from the people in Australia. They took away all your guns, and now they're taking away all your freedoms. Every single one of them. And Australia was the first ones to say, no jab, no job. Six. And the lockdowns that I've heard that Australia's had to go through, and just the whole process. And it's gotten to the point where I said, look, you guys are going to have to start doing something. It's sitting on your hands doing nothing is past. This is, you have now come to the point where you're going to have to start sharpening spears. You're going to have to start sharpening knives, get your pots and pans, whatever you got to do at this point. You got to start pushing back. This is your liberty or death moment, which I have said for the entire world. I think this is going to be our liberty or death moment. There's nothing else. There's nothing else we could do at this point. I mean, we can't sit and wait anymore. You know, you have to pray. First you have to pray, and you have to find out what you're supposed to do. And I've prayed and I've prayed and I've prayed. And what I have come up with in my prayer is that one of the pieces of armor of God that he gives you is a sword of righteousness. And we are supposed to stand up for what is right, for the truth, for our freedom. And we should have the ability to be able to push back in righteousness, in truth, in dignity, in honesty. We cannot be fearful. I mean, when Christ comes back, Christ is coming back with he's coming back with an army. He's going to be coming and crunching some heads. So where are you going to be? Are you going to be on the side that's just kind of sitting around, you know, waiting for it to happen? Or are you going to be on the side that's going to be ready to fight? You know, got to pray for it first. You got to ask what you're supposed to do. If you pray and you find out you're just supposed to sit down and take it, that's on you. You got to sit down and take it. But that's not what I'm getting. That's not what I'm getting at all. We are supposed to be ready to do what is asked of us. And what has been asked of me is that we got to stand up and fight for not only our rights, but for the rights of all the people, for everybody around us. We got to be willing to stand up to it. At least that's what I get. I don't know. That's a conversation for another time that I'm not ready to talk about, apparently. I don't know. But I have been, like I said, I've been taking it easy. I've been trying to get my mind wrapped around this house. You know, trying to get my mind wrapped around the move that's coming. We are stuck in this house for another 2 months. Another reason we said getting away from a rental company is that we've had to jump through so many hoops for this rental company, and they have done pretty much nothing for us in return. We've gone through 2 different rental companies since we've lived here, and it's just gotten worse and worse. And you know, whenever we ask them to fix things or do things, it's just been dragging their feet, you know, and doing this and doing that. And all they've asked from us is more money, you know, yearly. And it's like, you're just going to keep asking money and asking money and asking money from us. And it's, you know, why should we want to live with you if you're not going to do anything to the house we're living in? As of right now, the basement is not considered a living space. That's what they said. Because this wall back here leaks. Not as much as it used to, because I fixed it. But this wall back here leaks. It leaked so bad to the point to where I had water all over the carpet. It's finished. You know, I've got this like school carpet underneath me. And it got so bad that the whole carpet was wet. And I lost a couple different boxes of stuff, you know, just little things. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was bad. And that was whenever we had the rental company before us. They came out here, they tore down this wall, tore it all down. I had to move all my stuff out to the center, tore this whole wall down. And the guy said, you know, gave them a figure of how much it was going to cost to be able to fix all this. And they said it wasn't worth fixing. So then they basically put it into our agreement that said, you know, that the basement is not a living space, that they are not liable for anything that happens to the basement. And I said, bullshit. This basement is finished. It's a place. I've been down here since we moved in. I've been down here for 5 years. This was just last year. So I've been down here for 5 years. I have a life down here. You know, I'm working down here now. No, we don't care. Whatever. It's okay, fine. So, you know, I put the wall back. I fixed the wall. I actually got some of that sealant stuff and some waterproof paint. Fixed this wall myself because they wouldn't do it. But then they still declared it a non-living space. So, you know, I said, whatever. You know, I'm still going to live down here. I don't give a shit. But we're getting the new house, and I can do whatever I want to with my own house. I don't have to jump through any hoops. I don't have to worry about that. But it's just been, like I said, it's just been just trying to get through it. All I've been thinking about is just the house and the move, and not much of anything else. I've been reading the book of Psalms in the Bible. I finished. I went through. Oh, come on now. Jeremiah and Ezekiel and Isaiah, I think it's the one. Whatever the three that are back to back, you know, the ones that are right dead smack in the middle of the book, the ones that I think that were put there so that you will pay attention to them. I made it through those 3 books, and then I said, I need something that will help me. Just, you know, stuff that I don't have to understand the history of it. I just need something good for myself. So I asked God to guide my hand. I picked just a random part in the Bible, flipped it open, and I think it was like Psalm. What was that one that it was like 110, 111, something like that. I think it's where it started. And I just kind of read through them, you know, and it was a lot of, especially towards the end of the book of Psalms. You know, you get up into like the 140s. It's a lot about, you know, taking rest and comfort in God, and taking rest and comfort in His Word and His glory. And it helped a lot. It really did. It helped a lot. It gave me like a focus, a place to kind of focus my understanding things. So this morning I just I went back to the beginning of Psalms. I can start over again. I know that there's a theory that's out there that the book of Psalms, when you read them from the first one all the way to the last one, they correspond with the years. It's a theory. I don't know. From 1800 all the way up, they correspond to the years in the calendar. I don't know how that works. But each one of them, when you read it and you kind of put it with the year that it was, it kind of fits. You know, it's just a theory. I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to hear that. I don't take it that way. I read the whole, you know, I read what I read, and I was like, it's what I needed. You know, it's what I needed to hear. More than anything else, I think it's what you need to hear. You know, it's like Proverbs is about wisdom and intelligence. Psalms is about understanding God, understanding the Word in a certain way, and living a certain way. It really did help. But I've been packing. I found this bad boy. I know I showed this before. I found this one too. These are the only two books. That's the Book of Enoch. If you can see it, there you go. These are the only two books that I left out because I was like, that'd be something for me to read again. I was looking at this, and you can see the Book of Jasher. There's a phone book. This is an absolute phone book, but all my see them. All my little places where I saved certain things and I highlighted certain things. And then Enoch was the first book that I got that it was the first bit of Apocrypha that I got that I started reading. And you can tell there's like 5. There's like 5 post-it notes here. You know, and there's not much that's really, you know, highlighted. And you could definitely tell that my studies have taken me to different places. You know. And I keep saying I need to go back through those. So I kept them out. I might start reading them again. I need to start reading them again. But there's so much more stuff that I want to highlight. So many new things that I've learned, you know, that I want to go back through them. And there's a lot of people that are going to say, you know, well, you shouldn't be reading them. They're Apocrypha. They don't mean anything. Well, you can say that, and that's fine. I'm not going to take that away from you. But the people that wrote these books, they had an understanding of stuff that we don't understand, that we can't even possibly fathom. The Book of Jasher was where I first learned about the four holidays that the pagans had that coincide with the 4 holy days that or the 4 holidays, I guess, that, you know, we celebrate now. And they line up, you know, they line up almost perfectly. These also had the understanding of giants. These also have understanding of different random things. What do we have in here? The evils of Sodom. Half the things we know about Sodom and Gomorrah came from the Book of Jasher. Because if you just follow the Bible about Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, there's not much to it. You know, it's just you understand. You can understand a lot about Sodom and Gomorrah just based upon the way that the guys wanted to get at the 2 angels that came into Sodom and Gomorrah and hid at oh God, what was his name? Lot's house. You know, you can tell a lot of the way those people are because they were trying to break down the door to get to these angels, and an angel came out and smote them with blindness, and they wearied themselves trying to get into the house after they were smote with blindness. So you got to think about this for a second. These guys were like, we want to know the 2 men that you brought into the house. Like, we want to know these 2 men that you brought into the house. And Lot kept saying, no, don't do that. Here, look, I will give you my daughters if you will just go away. Like, I will give you 2 women to do whatever you want to with them if you will just go away. And these guys just straight threw these girls to the ground. They just said, no, we don't want that. We want these 2 dudes. Already at that moment, there's a level of depravity. Okay? You've got this level of depravity right here. So they try busting into this place, and the 2 angels came out, and they smote everybody with blindness. And I think in the Bible it says it's like the entire city came out to get these 2 angels. Now, think about that for a second. You've got all these guys trying to break down the door, get in here. And the angels come out and smote all these people with blindness. And they wearied themselves trying to get in. So not only are these guys, did they get offered these two girls that they could do whatever they want to with them, and they said no. But as they're busting down the door, these two guys come out, blind them, and yet they still wore themselves out trying to get into the house. I mean, that's some dedication. I don't even have that much dedication. Shit. You know, I'm I get tired watching too many movies, you know, on TV. I gotta go to sleep. I'm not gonna stay up all night, you know, after my vision starts blurring, you know, to keep watching a movie. Think about that for a second. But that already gives you an idea of how bad it was. But, you know, you go into like the Book of Jasher, and then you hear about the rest of the stuff that people talk about. People talk about the stuff like, you know, people talk about the stuff like the one thing I heard when I was a kid was the putting people on the beds. You know, if the guy was too short for the bed, they would stretch him, and if he was too tall for the bed, he'd cut parts off. I used to hear that as a kid. Those were medieval tortures. And you know, as soon as I heard that, I was kind of like, maybe that's what all those medieval torture machines are. They're just left over from Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, you hear about the stockades. You know, the stockades that they have. It's like two pieces of wood that they kind of attach together. There's a big hole for the head and then two holes for the arms, and they are at waist level. So whoever gets put into them has to be bent over to do it. And it makes you stop and think. It's like they used to, the Book of Jasher tells you that that's how they used to have their way with people. Now, they don't actually say stockades, but they say that anybody that would come into the city, they would take into the middle of the square and they would have their way with them. They take all their, you know, all their jewelry, all their stuff. They take everything that they took from them, and then they would have their way with them in the middle of the square. The whole city. They'd come out and do it just for fun. And I was like, that'd be pretty easy to do if you had some stockades out in the middle of the square. I mean, we used to hear all the time that these things were punishment. You know, people would be putting stockades, and, you know, as people would pass by, they would throw tomatoes and stuff at them. But what if they were being used for different stuff? What if a stretching machine torture rack was Sodom and Gomorrah stretching somebody to fit? You know, I mean, it's in here. It's in this book. Now, you can say that these books are apocryphal all you want, but these have something to say that we don't understand. You know. So I was watching a movie the other day. This all, it leads to everything. I know I kind of trailed off on something a while back, but this all leads to something. I was watching some Disney movie. I cannot remember what it was. Oh, I was watching The Jungle Book. I know, just out of the blue, The Jungle Book. And it was one of the parts with the elephants. At least I think it was. I don't even remember now. I don't know. Anyways, it was. I was thinking about the elephants, and I was thinking about the long trunks on elephants, the noses on elephants. They just don't make any sense. They've never made any sense. You know, that an animal could have a trunk that long, or a nose that long. There's just no reason for it whatsoever. I don't attribute it to evolution because, you know, evolution is a myth. It's a lie. So, you know, there's got to be a reason for these things. And it sprung to mind this line that I had heard from the Book of Jasher, where it said that the people were turned into elephants and monkeys. And I kind of stopped for a second and I said, maybe that's where the term, when you lie, your nose becomes bigger. Maybe that's where that comes from, because all of these terms and ideas have to come from someplace. We've talked about, a long time ago, I talked about the tales of giants, Jack and the Beanstalk, and Babe the Blue Ox, and Paul Bunyan. How that's similar to Gilgamesh, and Gilgamesh going through and chopping the trees, and he had to fight the big blue ox that was given to him by the god of heaven, whoever the hell it was, or the goddess of heaven, whatever it was. And all these tales come from somewhere. Well, all these expressions have to come from somewhere too. What does it mean whenever you lie so much that your nose grows? What does that mean? Where does that come from? Because when people lie, their noses don't grow. Why does it that their noses grow? Why is that a thing? So it just it clicked for me. And it doesn't have to be this way, but for me it makes sense. That maybe it was that liars and cheats became monkeys and elephants. And the Book of Jasher says that. So I went in looking, and it actually deals with the Tower of Babel. It deals with the Tower of Babel right here. This is after he smites everybody. And from that day following, they forgot each man his neighbor's tongue, and they could not speak in one tongue. And when the builder took from the hands of his neighbor lime or stone, which he did not order, the builder would cast it away and throw it upon his neighbor, that he would die. And they did so many days, and they killed many of them in this manner. This is after he confused their languages and all that. And this is chapter 9, 935. Now, there's some other ones that say it's chapter 9, verse 23 of the Book of Jasher. And I think 23 is where it starts. Yeah. 923 is where they start building the tower. But there's other translations as well. I don't think this one's perfect. I don't think any of the ones that other people have are perfect, but it starts around 923. Just saying, we want to talk about numerology and stuff. But then verse 35 of this book says, "And the Lord smote the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said, 'We will ascend to heaven and serve our gods,' became like apes and elephants." And I stopped. There's another way of saying that, we will ascend into heaven and we will install our own gods. We will install our own lies. Get it? We will install our own lies. Thus, he turned them into apes and elephants. He took, to coin a phrase, liars whose noses grow when they lie, turn them into elephants, turn them into the only beasts in this world whose noses are longer than most other parts of their body. He turned man into apes. Liars who which have become the basis for the lie of evolution. You get how that works? He turned them into apes and elephants. He turned the liars of the world that wanted to install their own gods, install their own lies. He turned them into apes and elephants. Now, this also goes along with the whole the Indian religions, where you've got like what's the one? Not Vishnu, isn't it? I cannot remember their names. The elephant god. It's a god that has the head of the elephant. They also have an ape god. I don't remember that one's name either. But they have two gods. That are, one of them's an elephant, one of them's an ape. And somebody had said that on Twitter, and I said, that clicks. It's like this whole hurricane of knowledge just hit me all at once, and it clicked. And I was like, that's a thing. I ask for a new piece of knowledge every day, and I got it. And that was what I got out of that. I don't know why it clicked. And then I went on. I got online and I looked up the actual verse to see what it was. Found out that's what it was. And then it's like, on Twitter I started seeing different things because somebody else had put it together too, and that's what I got. That was just your little bit of knowledge for this, because I always try to give you something, because I don't want to just sit here and talk about, what I did with, what did I do for my summer vacation? But yeah, we will ascend to heaven and serve our gods, became like apes and elephants. And those who said, we will smite the heavens with arrows, the Lord killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbor. I don't know what that means exactly. But this also says, the ones that, in another translation, it says the ones that wanted to destroy heaven, God destroyed them. The ones that wanted to lie, get in and install the lies, he turned into elephants and apes. The ones that tried to destroy heaven, he destroyed them. And the third division of those who said, we will ascend to heaven and fight against him, the Lord scattered them throughout the earth. We will ascend to heaven and fight against God. He scattered them throughout earth. So these are the ones that instead of wanting to install their own gods, instead of wanting to destroy heaven, the ones that wanted to go and just be against God, to fight against God, he scattered them throughout the earth. No, I don't think that has anything to do with the good people of the world at the time, because there had to have been good people of the world, because these were all the ones that were building Tower of Babel. Was like, it was started by Nimrod, and it was mostly the sons of Ham, I think it was. So God had his people that he was keeping off to the side, but then these were all the people that said, we're going to go up and destroy God because he flooded everybody out. We're going to make sure he never does that again. That's what that is. I find it interesting. Just interesting. Just one of those things that, you don't have to take my word for it. But it's out there. It's out there. It's a thing. And it doesn't have to be that way. I always say, don't believe a word I say. Go do your own research, because I don't have all the answers. I most definitely don't have all the answers. I just kind of see these things. I put two and two together, and it makes sense. And that makes sense. It really does. Because I don't know, why does your nose grow when you lie? What does that mean? What does that even mean? Why does your nose grow? I don't get that. Surely there's something to it, but when you understand that God turned liars, people that wanted to install their own religions, he turned them into elephants and monkeys. Well, that makes sense. There's something there. There's something to it. I don't know. Anyways, that was what I had for today, really. I just wanted to, do one of those little updates. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while. Like I said, it was either I got so busy doing other stuff, or I was just so tired, or I just wasn't ready to do one yet. June was a hard month, like I said, and I just needed a break. I needed a break to be able to get stuff done. I don't know how many more of these I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do more, I guess. I've got a whole month of moving ahead of me. As like I said, you can already see I'm packing, and we have. Oh yeah, I never talked about we are stuck in this house for 2 months because we told them, we said, well, we just bought a new house. Can we break the lease? And they said, yeah, sure, you can break the lease. You can break the lease for $2,000. And it was like, well, wait a minute. Because it's like a break lease clause. And we said, well, wait a minute. We pay $1,000 a month. We have 2 months left on our contract. Why don't we just stay here? You know, we don't have to start our first mortgage payments until September anyways. So we'll just pay for June, July and August, and then we'll split. Because it's the September the 1st will be whenever we leave. So we said we'll just pay for 2 more months, and then we'll be out. And then we'll be done. So that's what's happening. We have 2 months to move. We have 2 months to move, and we own a house. So we're taking the whole month of July to get the house ready, to paint. We got to put up a fence for the dogs, and just other little things here and there that we got to do. Just little things, nothing big. And then the month of August is when we're actually going to move all this stuff out. Which, like I said, I'm already packing. The walls are getting a little bare. And that's only a third of this room. I have so much crap I gotta get rid of, man. It's absurd. But it hasn't been easy. I'll tell you that much. It just hasn't been easy. And I've just been trying to get through it. I'm starting to feel my age. I don't even think it's my age. I'm starting to feel sitting down and doing nothing for the past year and a half. I'm starting to feel being trapped in this house for a year and a half. We've been trying to exercise and trying to get a little better. I've been eating a lot better. I've been eating a lot less junk. But I'm definitely feeling it, especially that trip to Florida. Been feeling it. So anyways, I'm going to get off. Thank you guys for listening, coming around. I don't know when I'll do another one, but hopefully soon. We'll see how it goes. Then hopefully in a couple months, we'll be in a new location. So thanks for listening. Thanks for coming around. If you come around and, you're somebody that's been coming around for a while, thanks for putting up with me for this long. Amazing. I hear Angie's up, though. So I'll let you guys go. Take it easy. Love you all. Read your Bible. Read your non-Bibles. Put 2 and 2 together. Just, I'm not telling you to believe it 100%, but there's connections there. There really are. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.